I'm extremely pleased today to be welcoming my colleague, Mrs. Minister of Foreign Affairs of Republic of Malawi, Ms. Tongo, who is actually paying a work visit to Morocco. This is part of reinforcing mutual relations between our two countries, and this has been developing especially after the Republic of Malawi has withdrawn its recognition of the so-called Republic back in 2018. Since then, we have embarked on a very positive trip in our mutual relations, and we have signed a roadmap for mutual cooperation that's extending between 2022 to 2024. In our meeting today, we have agreed to, upon instructions from His Majesty the King and the President of Malawi, to boost further scope for these mutual relations by focusing more on areas for cooperation to benefit our countries, agriculture, mining, tourism, and also by supporting training, vocational training and academic training in these three areas. We have equally agreed that 2024, which coincides with the 60th anniversary of Malawi's independence, to be a year marked by actually a launch of our mutual cooperation to engage in real partnership. And in this regard, we see today the opening of the Malawi embassy in Rabat, which further reinforces Rabat as a capital, a diplomatic capital par excellence, and we are today further reinforcing the scope of embassies in Rabat. And this turns Rabat as the second or third embassy in terms of presence of embassies and diplomatic relations and representations. In 2024, we will also work on having the first meeting of the joint committee between Malawi and Morocco, and that will be an opportunity for us to reinforce and consolidate the legal framework of mutual relations, and will be also an opportunity for us to upgrade the cooperation in quite a few areas. In 2024, we will also focus on updating the roadmap of mutual cooperation so it can turn into a more ambitious tool in terms of our mutual relations. Ms. Minister will have a number of meetings these days with a number of government officials in different areas of bilateral cooperation. And the objective being, of course, despite the geographic distance between us, we want to set up a model for cooperation between our two African countries within the framework promoted by His Majesty the King, South-South cooperation, also fruitful sector relations to the benefit of our both countries. This was also an opportunity for me to extend out my sincere thanks to Mrs. Minister for the positive attitudes and positions of Malawi with regard to the Moroccan Sahara, and also the ongoing support by opening the consulate in Laayoune city back in 2021. And Mrs. Minister will pay visit to Laayoune consulate in Laayoune within the next few days as a sign of support for the Moroccan hood of Sahara. Once again, Mrs. Minister, thank you very much for your visit, and thank you for a very positive tone of our relations, thanks to the special role of Mrs. Minister and also the role of His Excellency President of Malawi. And I think the ambitions and also the scope and the horizons of our relations are very positive in the future. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.